Tuesday, March 10th here on Scouting the League. This is the free agency primer, not on players, but on the process that goes on behind it. Things have been happening fast and furious, trades, agreements, major cap hits, and more. We will talk about how you get to those moves and go second level to perhaps get you thinking about a few more things in this free agency frenzy that is happening now. But before we do, make sure you head over, like, subscribe, share this wherever you're listening and watching. We're going to get some nice Alec Pierce highlights for a good reason today as we're talking. So make sure you hit those buttons. Let us know you like this new format, throwing up some film as we're talking. Share this with a friend, hit the subscribe buttons. Those are the big ones that we really need for you to help us out. So do those things. Head over, follow me at RightStepADV on Twitter. That's where you can find me, interact. Let me know with comments, questions, anything you want in the future. My website, rsafootball.com, is where you can find me. If you're a scout or aspiring scout, head over to thescoutingcommunity.com for all things scouting. And make sure you check out the best insoles on the market over at bluemaca.com, one of our partners. Use code Scouting20. Let them know we sent you and get a little discount on that order. That's code Scouting20 at bluemaca.com for the best insoles you can buy. Make sure you've checked out our scouting trait series. We covered running backs this week while taking a look at Jeremiah Love. What running backs have gotten paid, are going to get paid. Yeah, Kenneth Walker is one of those guys. We'll see some good ones in the draft, good ones in free agency. Positions is maybe getting a little bit of that value back. So we always love to see that. A bunch of guests coming up, and we want to know what you want to hear. Let us know over on Twitter at RightStepADV is where you can find me. With that, let's get into the free agency. Again, free agency, big picture. For NFL teams across the league, it's not just about writing the big names, but it is about writing everybody. Just like in the college game, you've got probably 1,500 to 2,000 prospects written from across the country. In the NFL, every free agent has been written. Lots of potential free agents, guys like Tua Tagovailoa, have also been written. Cap casualties, potential trade candidates have been written as well. Writing the entire 53 practice squad IR guys, part of every advance the team does during the season. Priority positions then expanded on and cleaned up as the postseason. He gets every player in the free agency process, probably has at least 2 or 3 sets of eyes on him. You get coaches involved. You get the head coach definitely involved. Want to make sure that guy is the fit for what he has directionally on the team. Again, always big for new head coaches. Hey, you're trying to set the culture. You're trying to set the way everything is going to be going forward. You have to have it on the same page. It can be one of those processes for college scouts. Maybe you don't have a full picture yet of what your new head coach, what your new OCDC is going to be doing. Hey, this can be a time where if your team has not communicated, which there are some, they keep it very secretive through the process. You start to read it in the news. Hey, we're signing this guy. Probably start to think you're going to go a certain direction. So there's always guys at the team, that scouts, that coaches want. Again, whether that's in free agency, first tier, second tier, third tier, always guys coaches want as well. But the market and those at the top are really going to determine what happens. Again, you're talking about the top levels of the front office really involved in these decisions. Again, everybody else setting that foundation, getting everything set for those in charge, those that make the big bucks to go make those decisions. And their jobs are ultimately the ones in line with these guys panning out. So again, good reason why they're doing it. But everything has to be on the same page. That head coach, that GM, your cap guy better be in lockstep at this point. Bring that third leg into the tripod to make sure you've got that contract situated the right spot. And again, the cap considerations. Again, that salary cap has to play a factor, both in the way you use cash, the way you use bonuses, the way you put upfront money. Again, all those things play a factor, and not every team does it the same. Again, we've talked about it on here. The Bengals operate very differently in some than many teams across the league. We see cash, front end cash, bonus cash being thrown around by different teams in different ways. Again, it is all about maneuvering that contract to get the cap number where you want, to get the cash number where you want, and get that overall number where you want. An agent may, hey, we don't care about some of the guarantees. We want the biggest overall numbers. For some, hey, overall number doesn't matter. We want it per year. We want to kick guarantees out as far as we can. So again, every player, every agent, every team is going to do it a little bit different. But again, it all has to be in the best interest of the team at the end of the day. If the team's not doing that, again, that's when you start to question decisions. But of course, we get our first wave, second wave, and then our minimum type guys who really about 3 weeks of free agency right now during this legal tampering period. We're seeing all these first wave guys signing big money. You kind of expect to overpay, reset the market on this first wave. But again, a lot of those conversations have been happening for a while now. So on these first wave guys, you may not even get them in the building before signing them once we get to actual free agency time. Again, agreements have been made. Maybe they know people in the building. Again, Malik Willis, always have that in mind with some of these guys coming in. But again, getting into the building throughout the free agency process, whether first wave, second wave, or third wave, that's just part of the process. Players are going to make decisions oftentimes based on conversations, but in-person visits can certainly play a factor. I think back in 2016, 2017, Alex Mack signs with the Atlanta Falcons coming from Cleveland. Obviously, familiarity with Kyle Shanahan from his time there. We were also a team expected to compete an outside zone offense. We were going to pay front of market. Alex came in, really a formality visit. There was not a lot of recruiting. It was a lot of meeting, shaking hands, full expectation Alex was going to be signing with us. Again, not that we didn't want to blow it, but again, you still roll out the red carpet, but again, more of a formality. The next year free agency, we had Rex Burkhead in it. Really, we knew going into the process, it was probably going to be us and one, maybe two other teams. We were kind of told that up front by his agent, by Rex himself. Hey, he was really at a spot in his career where he could be a little picky. He could work through the process. He could meet with people. He was in some ways interviewing the coaches he was going to be with to find out who was going to be his best fit. Again, we really liked him. I personally really liked him, wanted him, thought he was a good fit, thought he was a guy that we needed in our running back room. Ultimately, Rex chose to go other places, but he's one of those guys that he took time, took his visits, went through the process, wasn't a first wave guy, was kind of a back end of the second wave guy, took his time, made the best decision for him. You can't fault him for that. Again, all part of that free agency process. Again, you roll out the red carpet, you do everything you can. Sometimes the money matters, sometimes the situation matters, sometimes where a guy is in his career matters. Again, at the end of the day, you always have to take into consideration all those things. It's almost never personal when a player chooses to go one spot or another. Again, you expect to overpay in phase one. No such thing is a hometown discount. Again, with the Alex Pierce news going out, again, don't believe everything you hear. I would be surprised if Indy didn't basically match whatever they believed was that top offer. Again, agents, other teams, they're always going to put out their own statements, again, to make things look as good as possible, which again, that's the media, that's the PR side of this whole game, and why there is so much money in the NFL is people can't get enough of it. But again, there is, we'll say rarely, a hometown discount. Again, careers are too short for that. Tax and end of career considerations will play a factor. Again, that may be the type of thing where, hey, Alec wants to be in Indianapolis, likes it there. Again, many different factors playing into that, but why he would choose there. Again, I'm not expecting Alec to take a hometown discount there. Again, the right thing set up. I believe the number was probably right there with whoever else was offering money. We'll see where it all shakes out. Again, don't believe everything when you hear when it's like, oh, these other teams were actually offering more money, but he chose to go to Indy. Yeah, I'm not going to necessarily believe that, but we'll see what all shakes out. Guys that pinpoint a spot late in their career will now often forfeit some money for a ring. Again, we see that. Is that part of the Mike Evans situation in consideration? I don't know. Is San Francisco a better spot to win a Super Bowl at this point than Tampa? Again, that may be a tough argument to make. Maybe you can make it. Again, Tampa, I'd rather maybe be playing in the NFC South than the NFC West, considering that's the returning Super Bowl champions there. You've got the Rams to deal with. But again, that could be something that Mike looks at the situation, again, and says, hey, that's a better spot to win. Let's go do that. But again, guys at the end of their career, you can pinpoint a spot. You may give up some money. But again, there's also end of career tax considerations that are going to play a factor in that. And then, of course, trades that happen. We're seeing a lot of those happen now. Future money, current money, draft considerations, scheme changes, many reasons why players, agents, teams are going to pick players. Again, this is a time where, hey, even when you think you know what a team's plan is, even when you have kind of seen a track record, when you see everything a team has done over the recent number of years with a stable front office, with a stable coaching staff. Again, maybe it's just a new direction. Maybe it's a new wrinkle. Maybe it's something that we've been wanting to get to, but haven't been able to because we didn't have the right players. That is where free agency is going to start to come. So my recommendation to you, again, don't jump to, oh, this was a great signing, this was a terrible signing. At this point, every signing is a fantastic signing. Exactly who teams want on their roster, exactly the amount of money they wanted to pay. It's all gravy. Sit back and, hey, why would Green Bay make this decision to trade Rashawn Gary? Why would the Miami Dolphins have decided that Malik Willis was worth this money? Why would San Francisco have wanted to sign Mike Evans? And why did Tampa not put up enough money to keep him there? Again, walk through the process, answer it from each side as if you're making the argument for that individual, for that team, for that franchise. Again, you'll probably uncover some stones and do some second level thinking that, hey, maybe this does make more sense. Maybe they do know what they're doing in the front office and coaching staff. Of course, guarantee that they do, but help you see where they're coming from. Don't believe everything you hear. Again, I'm going to say it again. Anything in the media, everything after the fact, a player signs, player gets traded. Don't believe everything you hear. Again, just like I did with free agencies, they, all right, why would this statement be put out there? Who does it benefit? Who does it try to hurt? Who does it, help in the process? Why would this statement be put out there? Start walking yourself back. Say, okay, I can see why they put the statement out there. Maybe I believe 20% of it. Maybe I believe 30% of it. Any day, any more of these days, I believe about 90% of what's put on the internet's not even real anyway. So it's part of the bubble we live in. But again, there's going to be plenty of rumors, plenty of talk, plenty of things happening with free agency. Teams know what they're doing. Pro scouts that have been working for a long time through this process, front office guys, coaches, everybody involved. It's about getting and setting this team up now for the draft, now for the future. 3-year plan, get everything right, get your team in the best spot to move forward. Questions, head over. Comments, head over. Right Step ADV on Twitter is where you can find me. Hit everything in our scouting trait series, everything with our guests. Let me know what you think, and make sure through the process you're not just watching, not just reacting, but you are scouting.